Hey everybody, and welcome to the Addicted to Loot podcast, episode 50. 1 week away from our 1 year. We're both super freaking pumped about it. And we're still actually trying to decide what fun things we're going to do for everyone out there. All of our glorious, beautiful, gracious, awesome viewers and listeners.
We love you guys.
Anyone out there on the podcast and or on Twitch, thank you very much from the bottom of our treasure chests. Is probably the best way of saying it.
From the bottom of our digital Zelda hearts.
But for anyone new, we are Addicted to Loot. We are a gaming entertainment conglomerate. I always like that word.
I love that term
because
it makes it sound like we're we
we're
talk about
huge
team synergy in the
We're a Fortune 500 hyphen company, and
Addicted to Loot LLC.
But
that's Loot Crate.
We specifically go around this podcast every week, and we also do some Twitch streams, do some YouTube videos, do many of the tweets and the Twitters and the things, and just for the most part have a fun time with this. We try to, bring everyone in. We try to include all of our viewers and our audience and anyone else out there that really just wants to talk games, and we do it. Mm-hmm. So thank you very much and welcome. For anyone out there that has listened to us or keeps on listening to us, thank you very much. And as always, please, if you can, leave a review and or pass this on to one of your friends, because that's always the best way to spread the love. To spread the loot, spread the addiction. Let's make an epidemic, people. Come on.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm looking at my mug here, and usually when we do this, I have coffee. I have a cup of coffee, and yes, it is 9 o'clock right now, hard time, 9 p.m. But this week I'm going maximum Izzy, and I've got tea. And not only do I have tea, but I have tea in my Game of Thrones mug in honor of the fact that this friggin' Sunday, Game of Thrones is back on the airwaves. I was gonna say back on the TV, but
back on the TV. Back on the everything's really.
Back out in the collective consciousness of the world, which is really weird because it's it always has been coming out April or something, I think is when it starts. And that's right, you don't like Game of Thrones. I forgot about that.
I know. I have to tear up my nerd card.
Well, for the rest of us, it comes back in April, and it's there. That always happens at the same time as certain events that I go to. So I'm always the first episode I've always watched in a hotel room for the past 30 years, and it's been weird to not have that. And so I've actually almost forgotten that Game of Thrones is a thing. But now I'm just scrambling around. If anyone knows any good recap videos or something out there, I would love to watch a season 6 recap, because I don't have the time to watch all of season 6 again. I thought I was going to, but I know I remember the bulk of what happened, but it's always good to just kind of freshen up. So that's my request to the Addicted to Loot
audience there,
fam. But yes, Game of Thrones.
Any live LARPing versions of the review of the season gets bonus points.
Too late for copy.
You get first dibs in next week's giveaway, whatever it may or may not be.
Yes, exactly. We need video proof that happened. So how are you, Brian?
Doing good, Tom. Doing good. Doing great.
Cool.
Doing grand. Doing awesome.
Cool. Did you play a lot of video games this week?
Of course. As always.
Yeah.
On the PCs
I did not.
And all the things.
I did not, and I feel bad.
No. Do not say that. I know for a fact from good resources and good sources that you have been playing lots of certain anime dating simulators and stuff
like that. In fact, that's all that I've played.
More than that to come as kind of a fun foreshadowing. And I've had some pretty interesting images on my Twitter account specifically of people showing just exactly what the hell these are. And I'm not sure, I can't get it on screen that quickly, but it's just some chick holding a knife. It looks really interesting, but that's more to come for this.
It's been a week, but actually, that's part of why that's the only thing that I've played this week. But I have been pretty busy. I've had a couple of different things I've been doing, but I did want to mention the past 2 days have been really fantastic because I have been hanging out with the wonderful duo of Camille and Kennerly, also known as the Harp Twins. And one of the things that my family does is that we host shows in our area, music performances. And I don't know how we originally got in touch with these two, but we brought them back for a show in the area. I run the sound and tech for them. And these two girls are so cool. They play the harp. They play both, standard concert harp and electric harp. But their gig is their bit is that they play like Led Zeppelin and Metallica and Aerosmith. As wow, you were really fast with that. There they are.
I'm trying. I'm adding production value here, Tom.
Yeah, there you go. And that's not photoshopped. They are identical twins. But they also do video game themes, and they have YouTube videos with tens upon thousands upon millions of hits. They're absolutely a YouTube phenomenon, and they're also just fantastic people. Like we hosted them here at our house for the past 2 days, and really great, really consummate performers, absolutely exceptional. If you have not heard of them, just look up the Harp Twins. Look them up on YouTube. Check out their stuff. If you're into Skyrim, they do the Skyrim theme. If you're into Iron Maiden, they do Iron Maiden, So, yeah, if you're into, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, Aerosmith, and harp? Legend of Zelda, So they do this great version of Blue Oyster Cult's Don't Fear the Reaper. Do
they do electric harp or is it just straight acoustic?
They do acoustic and electric.
I was wondering how you make it drop on a harp.
Yeah, they do... They do Billy Idol's White Wedding with one acoustic harp and one electric with a wah pedal. So it's got this wow kind of effect going on. But fantastic people. Definitely go check them out. I wanted to put in a little plug for them. And also just really good human beings. So that's been a fun week. But as a result, I have not played more than anime girl dating simulator games.
So, Addicted Lude's branching out into other markets is the way we like to put it.
Yes, it's experimentation for the sake of the craft.
Yes, we're differentiating the portfolio to bring all sorts of different dark corners of the gaming community out into light.
Which twins? The Harp Twins. They go by Harp.
Called the Harp Twins.
Their names are also, their individual names are Camille and Kennerly. I couldn't spell that off the top of my head. I don't want to butcher it. But probably just look up the Harp Twins. I'm willing to bet they'd be the first result, and that's Harp H.
They definitely are the first result.
Yep.
And for all those in chat, boom.
Oh yes, there it is, right in chat. Cool, fantastic. But yes, very good. Good musicians, good performers. What were we talking about besides
Harp Twins and animated
in honor of Izzy?
Well, we right before we get into our big news features, because this is how we usually do our podcast. We usually do news, general topics, then games we were playing, and then, of course, our free games of the week. Well, I want to start out with, I'm actually want to finally talk about something that I've been working on for a very, very, very long time, and I'm finally excited to say that it's actually happening. Big ATL announcement, and ATL is Addicted to Loot for all those that are too slow to follow the acronym. But...
I've also seen, by the way, I think Izzy was the first one to do this. I saw A and the number 2L. So if that acronym's out there too.
A2L. I like it. A+ on the
acronyming. Quality acronyming.
Quality acronyming.
That is put that on the resume.
Acronyming's right there.
Put that first on your LinkedIn. Great at acronyms.
Big on
or you
resume.
could say like GAA, great at acronyms.
References Addicted to Loot. Bam. But anyway, getting back to the point. I wanted to say a big, huge announcement is I am very pleased and excited to announce that Addicted to Loot is going to be launching a RPG stream branch live here on Twitch.
What?
Bam! We are actually doing our own. We are going to be breaking out and doing RPGs, at least one to start out with, and hopefully maybe growing into more. But this has been a long, long process for me. Finally happening. I'm so excited to talk about this.
I'm glad to finally be able to talk about this, because this has been in the works.
I have a really great cast of people, really, really wacky personalities who probably get way too into it, which is all the better. So, from what I can actually say now, is the very first one we are doing is going to be a Warhammer 40k RPG. It's called Dark Heresy. We're doing the first edition. There's currently 2 editions out. We chose to do the first edition just for the class advancement with it. But, just to kind of give a loadout, there's 2 Americans, 2 Brits, and 1 German guy. That's the cast. So it's going to be
and they all walk into a bar.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
You think, what if I would have seen it?
So kind of a brief Ha 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 ha.
That's one of those slow burn jokes.
But kind of a brief description of what Dark Heresy is. So, in the Warhammer universe, for all those that aren't Warhammer heads, but it is
Warhammer head sharks.
Exactly. You actually play a small band of inquisitorial acolytes, specifically operating under one Inquisitor in the Warhammer Inquisition. So the Inquisition, or the Imperium Inquisition, is kind of the FBI/CSI in the Warhammer 40k universe. They are in charge of handling all things internal of the Imperium. Basically, any type of heresy, demons, conspiracies, anything, shape, or form. Anything that basically an Inquisitor thinks is appropriate, they will investigate. That's kind of how this works. And the Warhammer 40k...
Seems like an awful lot of power to abuse.
Oh, there's actually precedent that sometimes Inquisitors could literally just say, blow up the planet. And they have the power to say, do an exterminatus on this planet, and they just... So, kind of like Death Star-ish, if you will. So, what actually happens is, we get assigned missions or interesting events that we need to look into. We start out as really low-ranking people, very unskilled, basically like fresh out of the academy kind of people. I'm first day on the job, this is so great. You get your lunchbox and everything else, and you get paired up with the old guy who just says, I'm too old for this shit, that kind of thing. But, so we all start out very low level, and we just this entire campaign is going to be us working our way up through the ranks, getting stronger.
That sounds like a really good premise for a role-playing game.
Exactly.
Because it's just here's your mission. Literally in-universe. New quest! New quest objective.
Because the funny part is, you know how some people watch, American Idol to watch people fail? Well, considering how low level people start out with in Dark Heresy, and knowing that it's pretty much a very unforgiving universe, there's going to be a lot of interesting dice rolls starting and then going forward.
Yeah.
Because when you first start out, it's literally we're completely untrained and fresh, so there's no reason why I should get this right, but anyway, roll for it, and it's haha, and usually when you fail, fall flat in your face, and you knock something over, and you get something wrong, and then everyone starts shooting. But...
you go blind.
It can happen, technically speaking. So, but also the other thing about Warhammer, which is going to provide for a very interesting role-playing experience, is that the Warhammer 40k universe is very dark, grim, gothic type of universe, in the sense of there's going to be a lot of questions of morality, diplomacy, and just kind of a social standing for a lot of people, because it's going to be a lot of times where you can literally say, the Inquisition orders you to basically eradicate all signs of heresy in this, let's just say, town. You go to the town, and you discover that the town has the world's largest orphanage in the center of it. And you're like, well, he said to burn the place down, and then, but the other member's but it's an orphanage, can't we, just look the other way? But no, we really can't. So
I just imagine, those roadside billboards that say, Best Western Hotel, world's largest orphanage, just ahead.
But seriously,
come see us for our children.
So there's going to be a lot of interesting dilemmas of morality, because in 40k universe, there's some very Puritan-based acolytes and Inquisitors. That's nothing. That's just literally, yep, it's all in a day's work. Which way do you want me to cut the baby in half, kind of thing. Other people,
yikes,
more radical people, or just people that just really aren't cut out for it, might actually try to go the other way. They might actually, maybe try to...
Alec.
Yeah, exactly. Might try to backdoor the Inquisitors, rim. They might not actually abide by all laws as set out by the Inquisition. There's very strict laws. There's very puritanic ways of viewing it. Then there's very radical ways of looking at it. And then there's also ways that you can just literally start going down the tainted track and start going towards heresy or pure evil versus actually just being a radical Inquisitor.
But I'm sure there are benefits.
Of course, there's going to be. So it's going to be interesting. We actually have an interesting group of people. So I'll start out, kind of do quick summaries. My character, I'm actually playing a Psyker. It's basically the Warhammer 40k version of a sorcerer or a wizard, basically the spellcaster of the group. And the interesting thing in Dark Heresy is that if you have a certain result on your dice roll, you enable things called perils. And perils are basically... You're able to summon your power, but it came at a cost. Something screwed up. So basically it could be all plants in a mile die, or everyone in the room starts floating, or literally there's actually, if you do a large enough roll and enact perils of the warp, you can actually get to the point of you summon a major demon, or you.
It's like you have a healer, but every time she casts heal, one person dies.
Well, that's why people always say like you need a psyker in your group to keep things interesting. A very simple spell. Like you could just be no combat, no nothing. You could be like healing a paper cut in some guy's hand and accidentally blow up the planet. Like, literally, like, that's the fun part of having a Psyker. There are dice roll every single time they summon it. And the way in Dark Heresy, the first edition compared to the second edition, I think they actually happen more often. So it's going to be interesting to play this character. Because I'm actually playing a character that's going to be casting basically all the time. He has zero combat ability or anything else besides casting. So it's going to be real fun. We have something called a Tech Priest. Actually, our German cast member is playing a Tech Priest. A Tech Priest is basically, I guess you'd call them, they were so into technology and metal that they just start engrossing it into themselves. They're the people that just want to slap on as many cybernetics as they can. They prefer to be more mechanical than human. He's going to be interesting because he's actually going to potentially be playing more atomic. I saw the chat. More puritanical. I'm actually going to be trying to play more radical, so that should be interesting. So he's going to be an interesting little fellow. So Tech Priests are definitely more the techno-brainos. They can have technically like Doc Ock robotical tentacles. They could have like robotic mastiffs. It's interesting. Like they could have like 3 or 4 tentacles that each do different things. It's going to be really great. Then we have 2 other characters. One is a Imperial Guardsman, basically the Imperial's version of Army, Infantry, Air Force, Navy. They're the guys who just work in the Army. And then we have, literally there's a character class called Scum. And we have a Scum character.
That relatable content.
Yeah, it's a Scum character that's basically like a gunslinger. So he's basically like 2 pistols, dual wielding all the time, but he's a Scum character, so he actually came out of, basically the thieves, drug dealers, all that kind of fun stuff. Literally the bottom of the barrel, but he somehow caught the eye of an Inquisitor, so he's being swept up. So it's going to be a really good time, and the RGM is a guy I knew for quite a while. I actually played a Dark Heresy game with him. Oh my god, this guy is such a character. He is probably one of, he is a person that if you went in character, he could be in character and ramble off a 10-minute speech in character where you're like, oh my god, he's there. He's actually in the universe. Like, he's so well ingrained.
He is the Scum.
Like, he's so well ingrained with the lore and knowledge of Warhammer that it's insane. So it's going to be really, really interesting.
I feel like I could probably only do that for Dragon Age. Like, that's something where I could just ramble off with, like, encyclopedic knowledge of Thetis. I'm a healer instead of healing most of the player.
Basically what's going to happen. There literally is a chance that the very first time I cast a spell, I could instantly kill myself and the people around me. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. That's why I love playing a Psyker. Everyone's like, I need a heal, but do we really need to roll the dice? Okay, let's stop this now. But anyway, so that is...
I just want to say, I was going to say that sounded like Izzy.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh no, I don't want to be rude or anything. And then there she is in chat saying, that's me.
Yeah, no, I definitely would do this.
You bet we always come back to Dragon Age here.
We always do.
Good content.
There's always a way to get it in.
Oh, yeah. Well, you were talking about Inquisitors earlier, and I held my tongue. I'll let you know I held my tongue.
I completely forgot about that Dragon Age Inquisition. Yeah. But yes, so
I didn't.
Dark Heresy stream will be, it's going to be on Sundays. I don't know if it's going to start this Sunday. It's most likely going to start next Sunday. We're still finalizing the start time, but it's going to be somewhere between 11 and 1 EST, potentially on the earlier side of that, just to accommodate all of the time zones that we're covering. But it's going to be a good time. It's going to be an awesome time. And I think right now the working title of it's called Dark Heresy: The Blind Abyss. So,
ooh, that's cool. Yeah. I like that. Yeah, so that's going to be hosted
right here. Right freaking here. So right on this channel, you can tune in. We're probably going to be plan on playing for about 3-ish hours at each given session. We're going to utilize Roll20. We'll have dice rolls. Everything will be on there. It also will be a real-time, real-play podcast as well. So not only will it be broadcast live in video form, that will be exported to YouTube, but also it will be a podcast for anyone that just wants to listen to it as well. So you'll have all different ways to get into this RPG.
And then when you're finished, if you like what you see, hop on over to twitch.tv/OzMills and check out our good buddies over at Rollout, some of which are in chat right now. And I love you guys so much. So I just wanted to put in a little plug for them. We guest host them here as well. So we've got
you
kind of
can basically capture everything on here.
Yeah, if you're a fan of these happenings, good news, we are chock full of them.
We also got a big shout out by, I think that's Tom's buddy Ethan James, who's
yes.
Do you see that?
Thank you. Yeah,
he's rendering and watching Twitch at the same time. So for anyone out there,
he has been an absolutely fantastic.
Thank you, Ethan. Thank you for the
participant in the 21 Days of VGM challenge as well. I talked about that last week. Just to recap, there's this fantastic thing going on where music makers, but also I think specifically music makers with a video game kind of edge, a window in, have been challenged to compose one new song a day for 21 days, starting at the first of this month. And I've been participating in that. Those who follow me on Twitter have, I'm sure, gotten deathly sick of me retweeting my tracks. But it's been so cool. There is a fantastic mini community that's come up around it. And I love the absolute air of positivity within that group. There's this incredible air of support, people sharing tips, people just even sharing comments. The fact that, we're listening to each other's songs, like anyone who makes music knows that it's like pulling teeth to get someone to just...
Marsh! Speaking of my GM, Marsh, the is actually my GM in Dark Heresy.
Man, what a great episode this is.
Marsh, he just missed me basically filling everyone in on our Dark Heresy stream. So, he is going to be my GM and our leader through the Warhammer universe. Amazing, extremely talented. Can't wait for this to happen.
So excited. Yeah.
It is going to be a good time, like I said.
And if you're looking for music for it, I know a cast of 100 some odd people who you could contact.
Well, I may or may not.
I do want to say before
some of those people about different things. So
before we zip off the topic, I know that at least on the VGM Academy Twitter, I think that's just at VGM Academy Twitter page, some of the songs have been shared. Also, if you just follow the tag hashtag 21 Days of VGM, you can see submissions that people have been doing. A lot are hosted on SoundCloud. They're so cool. There are so many different influences, so many different styles. It's so hard. I'm reading the chat. I'm like, but it's really cool. It's a cool thing that's going on.
I was trying to visualize Dragon Age and Warhammer colliding.
Well, I'm also seeing Stardew Valley and Slime Rancher. We're talking in about a 10-minute span. Wow. We've covered Dragon Age, Stardew Valley, Slime Rancher, Warhammer.
Slime Rancher is an amazing game. So that is a really great game.
You've played it?
I've seen numerous Let's Plays on it, but actually...
I want to play it.
You were the first person I thought of when I saw it.
Yeah, that's not the first time that anyone said that either.
Literally screamed to me this is Tom's game.
This looks like Tom's shit.
But that is going to be it for kind of our announcement sections there. But definitely, I will, if you stay tuned to the Addicted to Loot Twitch, as well as my Twitch and Twitter, as well as my Twitter... when we finalize the game time and place, I will let everyone know so that everyone can join in and get their share of Dark Grim Warhammer 40k roleplay.
Now, I just want to. I always get confused. There's two Warhammer. Well, three, but two. Isn't there a third one?
Two that I'm aware of. Warhammer 40k and Warhammer Fantasy.
Okay, so this is 40k, which
Correct.
is Warhammer kind of sci-fi.
The best way I can describe it is that it's futuristic gothic. It's sci-fi gothic. It's not like steampunk. It's specifically more of a gothic orientation than anything like steampunky.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to say it's sci-fi because it's not like sci-fi to me is specifically very technologically advanced where everyone knows obviously this cog goes here and there's quantum physics over here.
Mm-hmm.
It's specifically people don't know how shit works. They think there's a spirit that makes the machine do what it does. So it's interesting. It's definitely more sci-fi but feudal. Probably the best way of saying it.
Huh.
Thanks, Marsh, for the follow.
That is a great way to put it.
Thank you very much for the follow.
Oh, very Dune. That's a great comparison. Okay.
Yes. And then Warhammer Fantasy is basically, depending on which way you look at it, 40 years prior to 40k, or 40k is 40 years after Fantasy. So depending on which way you want to look at it.
I would love a universe, and I know that sci-fi touches on this. They'll have a planet like this, or a community or subtype of people like this. But I want that kind of sci-fi that's I think the trope is called crystal spires and togas, where it's ancient Greek aesthetically, but sci-fi capabilities, like future tech, but people just, and rather, whether it's a sense of just opulence and eloquence, or if that's just where they are, it's like, I love that look where it's like Greek architecture, and literally people in togas, but it's like, oh, let's fire up the quantum regenerator, and there's this big glowing statue of Zeus in the back. I love that. That's a great little thing. So
yeah, it's going to be a really, really
if
good
that
time.
exists, let me know.
Well, I'm putting a large list of RPGs together that I would actually want to cover on our brand new RPG section. So we'll just see what happens, but we'll definitely fill everyone in as we go.
I want this to be a roleplay game. Yes, and also a roleplay podcast, but this is actually a video game podcast.
Dice roll for Witty
Comment.
Comment.
Now that we've talked about harp music, Game of Thrones.
Dice roll on Witty Comment, crit fail, crap.
Yeah, that's what we should do. Dice rolls on our reviews of games.
That would be hilarious.
Whether we had a good time or not, it's like critical failure. Yeah, I don't think Skyrim was that great.
That would be interesting. Guess which
Argonauts in space. I know it's got to have been done, but
we will just have to wait and see. But with that, we will close out on our big fun announcement section and move on to some of our actual news, actually under our news section over here. So, very first thing we want to talk about is Games Done Quick is officially over, and the final tally has been tallied. And it is ended at 1.7 million. This is, of course, not as high as they did last
winter.
Last winter, yes, correct. Which was 2 million record. Plus. But this one reached 1.7 million, all going towards a good cause. So,
yes, it went to Doctors Without Borders. I feel bad I didn't get to watch as much of it as I usually do. I've watched probably like 3 years worth of Games Done Quicks. And again, it runs twice a year. There's a winter one called Awesome Games Done Quick, or AGDQ. And then the summer one is Summer Games Done Quick, SGDQ. But they had some really cool runs. Again, I think the one that really stood out for me was the Super Monkey Ball one. There was one, oh God, I cannot remember which one it is, but it was really funny. I think it's called Super Panga World. It's like almost a mod of Mario. It's a custom-made Mario game. But the guys running it were funny. There were a lot of, kind of references and jokes and just funny things going on. So if you watch just one stream, watch that one, because it's just absolutely ridiculous. Spoilers. But yeah, again, Super Monkey Ball, really cool. Great to see. Oh, bye, Scaly.
See you, Scaly. Thanks for joining.
You're
Thanks
a fantastic human.
Hype.
Glad to see you for the roleplay chat.
Definitely.
They also did Nier Automata. That was actually the first one run by Half Coordinated. That was really great. I think they have all of them. If they don't yet, they will have all of them on YouTube, so you don't have to say, oh, where was this? 2.5 days into the stream? Okay. So, it's good.
Yeah, good.
GDQ is
we'll
good.
Wait and see till Games Done Quick winner. Okay, here's a big one. Well, we've had the Steam Summer Sale. I'm trying to think. We've had the Amazon Prime Summer Sale. And now there's one more huge summer sale that we wanted to talk about. As you can guess from the list up here, Oculus Rift is having a big summer sale called Summer of the Rift.
Not to be confused with Summoner's Rift.
But
well, video game humor.
So this bundle, or this sale specifically, is you get $200 off on a Rift plus Touch bundle. Now, what that means is the Rift is literally the headset, so that's what gives you the VR. The Touch are the two hand controllers that actually give you full control hand-wise. Mm-hmm. But in this bundle, you not only get those two things. You get the headset, which is the Rift, the two X sensors, which are the Touch sensors. You get a wireless 360 controller, or the Touch controller, all the cables you need, and 7 free games for $3.99. Huge, huge bundle.
That's nuts.
For $200 less than what it typically was.
So it is now $3.99.
Yes. It used to be $5.99. So, for the next 6 weeks, approximately, you can get that for $200 less than retail. Huge, huge amount. And the games you get are Lucky's Tale, Medium, Toy Box, Quill, Dead and Buried, Dragon Front, and Robo Recall. The only one that I know about is Robo Recall. I watched a Let's Play on it. Oh my god, was that freaking amazing!
Oh yeah, I've seen like
endless
screenshots
waves
of
of robots, and you just sit
Yeah.
there just shooting the hell out of all of them. You can grab them, you can smash them together, you can.
I just want to say really quick
Yeah.
that I'm looking at Marshy's comment. I
Yep.
do want to talk about that, but
No,
go
we
on.
definitely will,
Yes.
and it's
Yeah.
going to be interesting because I have another announcement about this bundle. So,
Yeah.
Robo Recall is really cool. I've seen some other ones, like this is typically where you see like Hotline Miami, right? Hotline Miami? I think it's called Hotline Miami. Isn't? No, the
Super hot.
Super Hot, yes.
Yes.
Hotline
okay.
Miami is the combination of that and another game. But anyway, Super Hot.
Super Hotline Miami.
Yes,
It's a
that one.
combination.
So Super Hot is also the game where literally anytime you make a move, everyone on the screen makes a move. But it's kind of like a big action puzzle game. Really, really cool as well. They actually released a, I'm going to blank on the name, a kind of like a puzzle psychological thriller horror game, which looked a little too good for my liking, especially when it's VR. But I'm trying to remember what the hell it was called. But it also looked pretty good. The one thing, this is the other thing to consider for anyone that's considering VR. There's two major systems right now. There is the Oculus, and I'm trying to remember what the hell the Samsung one or the HTC one is called.
Vive.
Vive, thank you. So there's
There
the
actually
Oculus.
also there's a third if you count the PlayStation Move, but we're talking PC.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
have the Rift and the Vive. Now, the main difference between those is that the Rift, you're stationary. You only thing that moves is your head and your arms. There's a little receiver on your desk, console, whatever else you want to call it, and you literally move by teleporting. You point your hand somewhere, you push a button, and you go over that way. The Vive, actually, you physically move in 3D space. You physically walk around. Your character,
Obviously within reason. You're only going to go.
I
like
think it's
in a-
within a 15 square footage of a room, but it actually lets you move. So that's the main difference. Now, depending on what you read, lots of people say the Vive because of the fact that you're actually able to immerse yourself in a 3D environment. But they say that the Oculus is by far the most refined. The headset's the most comfortable. The controllers are the most ergonomic. It functions a lot smoother. It's easier to set up.
I also
So
feel
those
like
are the main
if
things the way.
if I were to play
Exactly.
with a VR headset, I agree, Marshy. Marshy says the Samsung one might eliminate a large demographic of people with cramped space.
You
Yeah,
basically need a
absolutely.
large open office to really make this work, because it actually uses two
Right, a
two
dedicated room or
motion
something.
sensors basically in the two corners of your room is how it actually
Yeah.
maps it out.
If I were to play, if I had a VR headset and I were to play VR games, I would probably lean towards things like, I remember one of the first things that people talked about was Euro Truck Simulator, a game that I love. I love the idea. Or there was that one that was tied in with Eve. I think it was Eve Valkyrie. It was called, where you're inside a spaceship.
Yep.
These are
Trek
stationary
Cruise Simulator.
things
Yeah.
by. Yeah, these are stationary things by default. So I would be playing games where I'm sat in a chair with a headset.
Elite Dangerous.
You know, I want to be in the
Yeah.
spaceship going, yeah, exactly. The idea, because I've seen the teleport mechanic that the Vive uses, which is like you can walk within
Oculus.
a certain space, and sure, you can duck and stuff like that. Vive does this too, is
The
that you
teleport?
can walk within a certain space, but if you,
Oh,
if you want to get
still
like
have
to the
move
other end of
large
the corridor,
distances.
Yeah.
Okay, I follow you now.
right. There's basically you point at a spot and then it's almost like Portal. Like a portal you'll warp there or you'll
Yeah.
walk through or something. You know, they have different ways of doing it. And I'm sure it's cool. I'm sure it's really cool. And I'm sure if I had one, I would be saying, yeah, this is great. But the Oculus does seem more like what I would be playing VR games for, you know?
Exactly. I mean,
More
Oculus was the very
stationary
first
stuff.
one. Obviously, Oculus was the one that got the hype chain rolling.
I just saw the comment, a spare tennis court. Yeah,
Yeah, it's basically if you had-
oh, I've
if
got
you
all this
had a
space I'm
room,
not using.
It would be great. But I mean, Oculus was definitely the first one on the first one that came to market. It was the first one that even started to have even a developer's model. Versus, it also was the first one to have the first consumer model. The actual touch controllers, is a newish thing. The Vive did have that
Yes,
first.
that is one thing that the Vive did have in
at
their
first.
campus.
But
yeah.
everyone is saying that the Oculus version works great, zero flaws, kind of thing, like zero negative feedback on it. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I think lots of people, and I think the one thing that makes the Oculus good, I mean, the Vive might also do it as well, but the fact that you could just, instead of having, your view controlled by your mouse, just have it controlled by your head. Literally, instead of having like mouse and keyboard for That'd be kind of interesting. Like, instead of having like mouse and keyboard to actually control which way you're looking, you actually just
Well,
have like keyboard and joystick or something, and then your head does the looking. Like you said, like Elite Dangerous or anything else like that.
I've used because you can set it up with a webcam. It's sometimes it runs great. It all depends on lighting and your setup. But you can set up head tracking where it will recognize. There's free software out there. I think it's called TrackIR, where it'll recognize your face, and so within a certain kind of access, you can. I remember playing GTA 5 with this and trying some driving games with it, and it's cool. But the problem is, which starts to become obvious, is if you're going to turn and look to the left, well, now I'm not looking at the screen anymore.
Yeah.
So you're playing a game on your screen, and you want to turn your head to the left, maybe to look out your window, but you're like,
set up a mirror on the other side.
I still have to look at the screen. Like, I can't. Oh, what's back there? Crash. So
yeah. But getting back to the question of VR becoming a mainstream thing. Now, we've been saying this for a long time, that we actually do believe that the next step in the evolution of gaming most likely will be some form of VR. We just didn't think it was going to happen anytime too soon. We actually thought that VR headsets and the VR technology actually hit the market before its time, that there should have been a little bit more refining, should have been a little bit more conception.
Unless they feel comfortable with this as a testing period, which I don't think they do. They're putting it out there as...
If you see like the very first Oculus until now as early access, then maybe it's not all that bad. But we were definitely saying that we liked the technology. We thought ultimately, like, naturally that's the next evolution. Like, you can only go so far with, like, man, this game looks so real. Well, the next level is, well, let's just put you in it. That's obviously the next layer. And I think they're getting better. I think they're getting closer. I mean, the games are, they run much better. They incorporate all the inputs and controls a lot better. The feeling is so much better. I hear lots of people actually say that they get the sense of motion. They get the sense of having real control. They get the sense of immersion into a 3D environment.
It's so tricky because it's like once you start crossing that threshold in graphics, like
the Uncanny Valley.
Yeah, you're playing a video game from 2005, 2006, 2007. You're saying like, wow, these graphics look really close to real. Obviously, it's still a video game, but they're looking really good. And then all of a sudden, you just hit this era. Like, there are games now where it's just, oh God, you are trying so hard to be real that you look like you're unsettling. It's the Uncanny Valley.
Yeah.
So you have to either nail it. Mass Effect Andromeda was a recent example.
Unfortunately.
You have to nail it, or you're going to feel like you're looking at a mannequin or something.
Ryder,
like, why aren't
you to go to the galaxy. Yeah. Why aren't you blinking?
Save the day. It's like this perfectly rendered person, but it's just like completely expressionless meat puppet. So
one of us.
Yeah. Good for a sci-fi game.
It looks so realistic. How does it know my name? Brian.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh, so my God. It's called Brian. Oh, wait, that's you. That's actually you.
Oh, my God.
That's weird.
But, yeah. Actually, I don't know. I do think, it's like I said, I do think it's the next step for gaming. I think there's going to be a few more middle ground steps before everyone starts going VR, obviously. I mean, there was a one point in time when people were still glued to the PS2 instead of the PS3 or anything else because they're like, I like it too much, it's mine, how dare you, this is scary, it's upgraded technology. But I think there will come a time. But to Marsh's point, I do think that sometimes, I think these types of games might get a little too much for some people because, the people who just want to play... like RTSs or casual games or puzzle games or things like that. There might not really be any point to this minus the fact that it's a novelty. It's like, oh, look what I can do. It's kind of like a cool new thing. It's like a new toy.
I'm thinking about 3D, and for the past, especially since I feel like 2010, they started really pushing it. Like 3D TVs, the 3DS, get 3D, consumer level 3D, get 3D in your house, and people just did not bite.
Yeah, it bounced off hard.
Did not bite. And I remember having really crappy level virtual reality back in the 90s. So I just wonder if it's like they're going to keep throwing spaghetti at the wall until something sticks, or I mean, what ultimately decides the next generation of something? It feels like it's incremental changes. Obviously, PS2 to PS3 doesn't look like much. It was big at the time, but it doesn't look like much. PS3 to PS4 doesn't look like much, but PS2 to PS4 is like,
I mean,
whoa.
Technology and advancement is always exponential. It's always going to grow at an alarming rate after like the technology comes to market or comes to inception.
pricing and
I
things
think
like that.
I think they're gonna need a few more iterations to VR before it becomes super consumer friendly, like to the point where it's at every household. Also to the point, I mean, if you look about it, the other thing with VR is you need another system to run it. You need a PC to run it. So if you think
it's
about
barrier of entry is what it is.
Yeah,
How easy is it? Because Izzy's saying right now, she says, then again, casual gamers were quick to accept touchscreen over standard buttons and controllers, even though touchscreens have more natural flow. It's because a touchscreen, you could explain that to your grandmother. You could say, look, see this colorful button here? Boop! Something happens. Instant feedback.
As opposed to push X here, then move the analog over here.
Yeah, I actually sometimes, will see with people who don't play video games often, sit them down with a controller, and they're just like, I don't understand. Why are there two of these? How do I move,
I was waiting for your camera to bug out. Like,
I know. It's either that gets bugged out or I unplug my headphones. Yeah. But yeah, I think it is. It's barrier of entry.
I think so, and
is what it comes down to. Tell me computers and consoles are shipping with VR, and it's like, here's your headset, here's your system, don't need to do anything.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Oh God, Candy Crush with a mouse.
If there comes a time when instead of having a Steam box, you could have like a Rift box. I feel like people would get probably more prone to do it because they'd be like, oh, for $400 I can do everything? Great, as opposed to, oh, first I need to buy a PC or a laptop or something else, and then I need to hook it up. I need to set it up. I need to optimize it.
Connect.
Yeah, that's true.
That was something that they were like,
in the Kinect
motion.
All of it
didn't catch, and there was no barrier of entry. Besides, you did have to have space. But
the PlayStation 1, I actually really liked. It was super optimized. Like I remember me and our friend Alec playing table tennis like for hours.
The Move.
Yeah, and the Move
controllers,
and getting into like really like drenched in sweat battles because it actually felt realistic. Everything, the ball moved the way you expected it to move. The timing was exactly how you expected it to be. But once again, like the amount of times people bounced off of it, like it was this great technology. It worked really well. They had
the amount of times I pulled my shoulder doing Wii Sports Baseball,
but once again, it just kind of. Meh. I mean, it's
interesting.
So it's going to be interesting to see. And just to close this out, just to kind of right before we put the nail in the coffin.
No, I'm just saying that's one way to close a topic.
Yeah,
nail in the coffin.
Nail in the coffin.
Now that we're done killing this subject.
Well, I actually already purchased one of these bundles, so I'll be able to tell you in the next coming weeks.
What?
Yeah, so I already picked up one of these bundles because I actually been wanting to get a VR system for a while. So I actually already bought one of these.
After all that!
I actually...
Yeah, I don't know if VR is going to be a thing. Also, UPS is telling me I've got a Rift in the mail.
But yeah, I've already bought one of these, so I should be able to actually record onto this. Because
I was this close.
I'm curious about it. It seems like the right time. And B, I want to bring it onto the channel. I want to, do videos and stream it. I feel like it's, it's one of those things. Like you have to advance forward or you're left behind. So I think it's a cool thing to address.
Like that opens up a door. I want to say thank you to you guys who come back and watch us and listen to us and comment and all that week after week after week. You have been like, for me, I can definitely say from my perspective, you've been my biggest motivator to try out new video games, to check out things I would never check out before, like anime girl dating simulators, to just explore. I usually explore video games, but like because of Addicted to Loot, it's like what a great thing, like just to be like, hello, here's something new to share.
It's like a big push to explore your creativity, explore your curiosity. So I'm very excited.
Thank you to you guys.
Very excited to get my Rift. Rift. And I'm very excited to actually do a few YouTube videos on it. So whenever that comes in, we should be able to share our time. And I actually think I'm actually going to try to stream it, which might be interesting because I might actually need someone on audio to help me with it. But yeah, I think it'd be kind of interesting, like because people could see you in real space. As well as they kind of see, like, oh, he's literally moving his head, and it's moving his head, like that kind of thing.
Have you ever seen that GIF? It always cracks me up of a guy playing
Stardew Valley has been on my wish list for like half a year now.
I own Stardew Valley and I haven't even played it. Yeah, I got it in a Humble Bundle. Anyway, so there's this GIF of Damn it, Izzy. There's a GIF
Go
of a guy
Izzy.
demoing
Go Izzy. Go
a
Izzy.
VR headset, whether it's a Rift or the Vive, in like an expo hall, and it's like a roller coaster game, and he's going up over the roller
I've
coaster.
seen that one.
And there's a demonstrator that gives him a push, and the guy falls down for like 2 hours.
Yeah,
he's like,
he freaks the shit out. He literally thinks he's falling, and like 2 or 3 people are trying to stabilize him and be like, "Oh, hey, listen, dude, it's okay, you're okay." But no, he's fighting them. He's throwing them away. He's fighting gravity. It's kind of like someone falling down an escalator for 5 hours. It's the perfect thing.
That's
to watch.
That's a good Dimitri Martin reference right there.
I try.
I tripped on an escalator and fell down the stairs for 2.5 hours.
But with that, we will touch upon virtual gaming in the coming weeks. Whenever I get a chance to crack open the box and actually get a chance to play.
That's actually kind of amazing that you actually bought.
Yeah, so I'm super pumped for this. I'm just hoping it works on my beautiful little system right here.
And that deal we think is running until like the last week of August.
Last week of August
or
is
the first week of September.
Approximately the last week of August. So it should give me enough time to get it, review it, put up some videos, and maybe have people do like a Q&A on it to see if people actually want to purchase the bundle. So we will see.
Me.
Definitely.
And they do say that there will be more deals like this in the future.
Yeah,
that is another thing. So if
will.
you don't catch the summer one,
I mean, I think you have to in order to, sometimes
this is a smart move.
Yeah,
this is a smart move on their part because this puts it now into an affordable, more.
Because I literally have been looking at the full price version of this for like a couple weeks now because I'm sitting there going, it's really a lot. I don't know. I really don't know. And then you're like, literally, you said, hey, do you know that everything is $200 off? I'm like, what? Whoosh. Click.
Yeah.
Add to cart. I mean, that literally was it. I mean, that literally was all that needed to push me over the edge. So I mean,
it's funny because I won't go into detail, but I was telling you beforehand, I was this close to buying it, so I might still. I've got a decision ahead of me. But anyway, what?
Did you take that off the agenda?
No.
Oh, okay. So, anyway, sorry, little technical difficulties off screen.
What happened?
Going into our...
I was looking at my anime girls. What happened?
Welcome to my world, everybody. It's kind of like a tennis ball trying to... Tom, focus. Tom,
I'm dating a bear. Her name is Beverly.
Time to Pun was an hour and 16 minutes and 57 seconds for anyone who wants to punch their bingo card for this week.
I didn't create the name Beverly. That's not my pun, and I shouldn't take credit for it.
Still, Time to Pun, 1 hour, 16 minutes. Everyone keep punching out their cards for the Addicted to Loot bingo.
I'm going to make up an Addicted to Loot bingo card.
You might as well.
Actually, I'm going to write a note for that. That'd be really funny.
At least 4 or 5 of the spaces are going to be, oh my god, Zelda.
Warhammer?
No, well, Zelda game. Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild.
Oh, yeah, that's the free space.
By far.
That's a given every week.
Now, well, either that or Rollout, or Dragon Age, or BioWare. Yeah, you don't know.
Can we put all of those in one free
all
space?
the above. Really, Danzo?
6 stones may break your bones, but bare arms do the same. She gets it. Caitlin gets it.
This is what our community has evolved into.
Good.
Danzo, stop feeding him. This is the reason why we still endure.
Yes.
The
I can't bear these puns.
Moving on. Wild West Online. It's a thing. It's a cool thing.
I'm sorry that we had to pause so long for that.
I'm just going to go hibernate until this all blows over.
We clearly need one for rollout. Did you mean we clawly need? Okay, that one doesn't work. I'm gonna take that joke back into the shop.
You might as well just put a clause in there for it.
I got that. Hey, Pretty Ideals in chat. Hey, what's up? Oh, welcome to whatever this is.
One of the Blue Hair Clan.
Yes, one of.
I
love blue hair.
Not
everyone in rollout has such good hair. Okay, carry on.
Thank you, Pretty. She definitely agrees with me that you need to shave your head. Thank you, Pretty. But anyway, that settles that debate. Moving on. Wild West Online. It is a online MMO about Wild Westing. Who would have thought? We covered this a little while ago when it was first announced. We both promptly signed up for the beta. And we now have a gameplay video to talk about. Link will be in the show notes just like anything else we talk about. So if you want to check out anything we discuss, check out the show notes at SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, or Google Play. So, Wild West Online, we actually got our first gameplay video. So what we see in this video is a quick summary. We see a very brief character creation, super early alpha character creation. So it literally is like gender, pick one of two faces, start the game.
Yeah.
So that much we can just overlook. So one of the first things they actually bring up are the use and the system of newspapers, with my camera not focusing, but okay. So newspapers in Wild West Online, which I guess is like newspapers back in the ye olde Wild West, but it's basically your main source of communication. It's your main source of knowing what's going on. Newspapers might highlight quests that are going on, might highlight states of the economy, and might actually highlight the escapades of actual players. You might actually see your name in one of the headlines. You might actually see your face or your character's face as an image in.
And it's a really good looking newspaper. Like it doesn't.
I mean, it looks really and like you literally have to click it and it pops up and fills your screen and you have to sit there and read it.
Yeah.
So and it's actually fully drawn out and fetched out. So you actually might become part of the newspaper for the section of your area if you become notorious enough or do something, a good enough deed or something like that. So they actually say newspapers will be a big feature in the game. So that's kind of interesting. I think it's really cool. It's like
as their story delivery or like some
instead of having like a news feed or anything else, it's kind of like you can get a quick summary of what's going on in the world at any given time. Next thing we see, he changes his clothes, which of course there's going to be cosmetic changes and different cosmetic options for your character. That's pretty cool. They actually change them up to be looking like like the sheriff in any given Wild West movie.
It seems like they have a good option, at least within the genre of looks. Don't worry, it's just rollout chat. You don't need to worry. It's just...
Wait a minute. I gotta catch up.
No.
It's just continue.
Well, Wild West Online. Anyway, so they continue, and the guy takes some bounties. And I couldn't quite tell if the bounties were actual players or if they were NPCs. Did you have any idea?
Say it again.
If the bounties were NPCs or if they were
They
actual
look
players.
like they were players.
Okay.
It could be a mix, but at least
I'm willing to
some
bet
of
that
them,
they'll do a mix.
At least some of them were players. You can tell by it was like Steve-O_12 ? You're like, yeah, that's definitely some idiot's name. So woohoo! But yeah. Definitely.
And so they head out, and the guy parties up with a friend, and they sort of stalk the campsite where these guys are. They ride horse riding, yay! They get to the campsite, and it demonstrates. It's something that's scripted for the demonstration, but he demonstrates, for example, he could see the shadow of one of the guys in the campsite through the canvas of his tent that he's in, and so he actually aims and shoots at the shadow, and the guy goes down. And then he takes his buddy goes down, and then he takes down the targets. It's really interesting. You and I were talking about this. It looks like the lethality of these weapons is through the roof.
Yeah,
like
so that's one of the
one
things
shot,
that
one kill.
This is one of the things that we harped about the most for The Division, is the fact that in this game, a shot by a rifle kills you. Who would have thought? It kills you in one shot.
A shot, yeah.
As long as you hit the person, he dies. It's a novel thing. It makes so much sense. It could be potentially annoying, but at the same time...
It could be potentially annoying.
But at the same time, they were having a point-blank shootout, and it took them a few shots to actually get a hit, because obviously they think they're going to be kind of super inaccurate.
Yeah.
So... it's really cool. I actually really like that. That's actually one of the things that made me a little bit more excited about it. I like the realism in games like this. I know some people could say, like, oh, I need to advance. How do I advance? How do I get platinum or adamantine cowboy jackets that improve my damage resistance by +10?
How do I get titanium chaps?
Does that come with butt coverage, or is like the butt the weak part?
No, it's like that. Yeah, it's just
like the area of weakness.
Yeah,
instead of shooting
you have to get
head,
a titanium.
the butt.
You have to literally get a titanium ass. That's the final part of the set. Then you get the set bonus. But no, truthfully, it looks great. It looks fantastic, actually.
Well, yeah, I mean, they gone for the realistic look. I mean, it looks super realistic. It looks like Skyrim on steroids.
I believe the thing I said in I tweeted about it, and I think it was this game. Whereas basically, I feel like I would just enjoy hanging out in it. It's one of those games where I'd enjoy just like walking around. I'd enjoy exploring it. I'd enjoy being in it. The small kind of like last town USA kind of vibe of the starting hub area. Seemed really cool.
I mean,
I don't know if that was just like one random area.
But, I mean, there's like the main street, there's the tavern, there's the market, there's the saloon, there's the sheriff's office. I mean, you can also gamble, you can play cards, you can drink, you can provide services of the opposite sex, you can ride horses, you can do all sorts of stuff.
I couldn't tell if the card games were playable, but I would be surprised if they were.
They are definitely playable.
Because I saw icons.
He just didn't like actually play it in the video.
I saw icons. It was obviously like poker.
You can play card games. You can play roulette.
There were like icons of women up top.
You can steal. You can actually steal, and the stealing mechanic is interesting. If you steal something, as long as no one or no NPC sees you, nothing happens. You got away scot-free. Good job.
Yep.
But if someone sees you, your notoriety or your notorious level goes up. And if it keeps going up enough, you might hit the wanted board, and you literally just became an outlaw. Eventually, I was reading in the article, eventually, just like in Star Citizen, it eventually drops off and disappears because someone like your best friend might frame you for doing a crime that you didn't actually know you're committing because you shut off an array or something like that, or stopped the wrong course.
A hypothetical situation
Completely
that is unlikely. It's not likely, but could happen, I could imagine, with the right circumstances.
In the right circumstance, just maybe, with the right button presses and the right pushing in the wrong way.
Pretty Ideal says...
You'd be the prettiest outlaw out there, this side of the Pecos.
Is blue hair Bertha. I am curious if... I was going to segue into this, so I'm glad that she said, for audio listeners, Pretty Ideal said, I want to be an outlaw. I wonder if they're going to have factions, or if it's just going to be everyone by default is, neutral, like Star Citizen, just your character, and then depending on whether you either
join up with people
or if you pursue bounties, and even then, could you pursue bounties but not necessarily be like a vigilante? Could you be like a Robin Hood kind of, like
see you pretty
bye?
But yeah, I actually think it's probably more the latter, what you were saying. I think it's gonna
I just realized she couldn't hear us.
Oh
well.
But I think it's going to be more along the lines of, I don't know if they're actually going to be like, I'm a good person, I'm a bad person. I think it's barely just your actions depend on what you are. And then basically, hey, Tom, you want to just go hit up this bank? Sure. And you just go, oh, hey, we're going to be the Blue Ribbon Boys now, or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think actually it's going to be like, invite to group, Blue Ribbon Outlaws, send, bonk, you're now part of an outlaw group. I don't think it's going to be anything like that. I think it's going to be, hey, you want to make a hideout out in the woods? I don't know if you can even do that either. You know what I mean? I feel like if you were going to be an outlaw, I feel like the way they should work would be like all the people without notoriety can just stay in like the local hub, and then anyone who's like an outlaw would have to like find a base or a hideout or like a separate save point somewhere where people would go, and actually try to find you. Because obviously, if you get a wanted level, how are they going to find you? You have to be somewhere for them to give you a lead to go hunt that person. Because realistically, I can just go to the corner of the map and hide there, and then like, haha, no one can ever find me. But like, you know what I mean? Like, there has to be something.
I always that reminds me of my favorite moment in an otherwise not great game.
It's also a pretty interesting beer here in the States. The Blue Ribbon.
Pabst.
Yep, Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Woo!
Yeah. Either way, Izzy, it's not good. Well, everything we're talking about here is not good. Blue Ribbon is a lie. Anyway. So my favorite moment in Watch Dogs, real quick, Watch Dogs had a mechanic where the nut rages.
Yeah,
I gotta not read the chat. Okay, Watch Dogs has a mechanic where you can infiltrate another player's game for various reasons, and so you will like have a mission where it's like you're sharing the same map and you have to hunt down another player and maybe like just tail them for a while without being seen. You appear to them as a random NPC. So you will spawn into another player's game while they're playing their single player. It was a really cool mechanic, again, in an otherwise game. I did this once where I was doing like I was the hunter pursuing somebody. And so it beamed me. What it does is it beams you near the person you're supposed to tag. So you have to find them, stay near them, not be seen. I warped to this completely open gravel pit area. Like way off the beaten path, not anywhere in any kind of civilized area. And I'm like, where's the guy? And I see an icon moving around. And I look and I could see just like a handful of pixels off in the distance coming closer. and the guy had gotten a motorcycle and was just doing cool jumps in this gravel pit all alone. He thought he was completely alone. He had no idea I was watching. And so I just watched this guy just going like, yeah, woo, I'm awesome. And it was just the coolest thing. Like, I did not want to burst his bubble or anything.
He didn't see you at all? I figured he'd
never
be like, why
found
is there one lone pedestrian out here?
Well, it's so funny because you appear as an NPC, so I just appeared as a guy that was...
Yeah, but wouldn't it be like, why are you here?
I would imagine he would have noticed, you know? It's like, oh, there's a guy in the gravel pit.
No, there's not.
Just like go hide behind a bulldozer. It's like watching him do these cool stunts. Like if there was a way to do animations, like he does a cool backflip. That was
there a premise or connection to that, to Wild West
Well,
Online?
if you're doing a bounty hunt, right?
Oh.
And so you have to trail a person. Yeah, no, this one's actually related.
I was trying to think, how did you make the leap?
If you're doing a bounty hunt in Wild West Online, you're actually trailing a person, and you're like me, and you're just off in the ass end of the woods just because you wanted to see what was over there. Like, it's kind of cool, kind of not. I don't see it not being cool. I just mean it is what it is. You know, you'll have to trail someone. You're like, why is this guy trying to like clip through the map and jump over these rocks? Oh, hi.
But the long and the short of this is, we're still pretty relatively excited for Wild West Online. Yep. We still were both signed up for the beta. Hopefully one of us gets it. And we'll just report on it when there's more to report.
Aye.
Moving forward, it's finally here. It's finally happened. Blizzard has finally stopped dangling it in front of everyone's face. Doomfist has finally arrived. Kudos to Marsh for calling it as soon as he saw the fact that Overwatch was on the agenda. So kudos to Marsh. You get the fluffy...
You get the fist of approval. The golden fist of approval. Yikes.
I think that the loop cancels.
Yeah.
Inappropriate
Can I
content.
unsay something?
Nope.
Does Twitch work that way?
Can someone please make a clip of that? But anyway.
That
So, the golden
left.
fist of approval of Doomfist is finally here to Overwatch. He looks cool.
I like his design.
I like the way he looks. I like his skins. I'm kind of underwhelmed by his abilities. But, hey, we'll just go over them real quick. So, what Doomfish is... Exactly, about the dark heresy of the Golden Fist.
I do want to say that Doomfist was revealed with the coolest video that Overwatch has done yet. It is like a high-octane anime like short that they did specifically for him. They haven't done this for anything else. Like usually they do CGI stuff, but this
surprise, Tom's talking about anime again. I wonder who else from the Overwatch world is in your dating simulator.
I freaking wish they were in there. I would play an Overwatch dating simulator. Oh my god, that would be so cool. Make it happen, Blizzard. Anyway, it's a really cool video. Go watch it. Even if you're not into that kind of stuff, it's just this, again, high octane, high energy video. Does a cool job of replicating the Overwatch feel. You know, it's like, but it's really weird. This happens sometimes. Like Winston's in it, and he does that sound that he does when he jumps. He always does a certain like, whoa! Yeah, he does that exact sound every time. And so of course he jumps and he does that, and it's like my brain gets triggered. I'm like, suddenly I'm in the fields of Overwatch. I'm in the trenches again.
Yeah, I think an Overwatch flashback.
I was just like, I was hovering in a corner of my room with Lucio here. Oh, thank God. But no, it's really cool. Doomfist is not voiced by Terry Crews,
unfortunately.
But go play
Such a missed
Crackdown
opportunity.
3.
But Doomfist, his abilities. He has a standard hand cannon. This is his like basically left click ability. It's just him shooting laser beams out of his knuckles, which is an interesting ability.
Yeah, it's a ranged attack.
Yep, he has a ranged attack. His standard attack, like anyone else's, is just like a machine gun out of his wrist. Interesting enough. He has.
I wish it was like the hand on a like a boxing glove on a spring.
On a spring.
Like,
it's
like
that would have been awesome. Seismic Slam. It's an AoE ability where he pounds the ground, and everyone who gets hit gets pulled towards him. Interestingly enough,
yeah, that's an interesting skill.
To set him up for his next ability, which is a Rising Uppercut, where he hits everyone into the air. That's you can a multiple hitter if you can time it well enough.
Yep.
He has. The last of his normal abilities is a rocket punch. Basically, he charges up like a Kamehameha, and then he shoots forward. If he connects with a character, the character gets thrown back. If that same character hits a wall, he gets bonus damage. Interesting thing to remember there. He gets something called the best defense ... It is a passive where anytime he causes ability damage, he generates a shield for himself. So this build or this character, obviously they want you to be spamming abilities and they want you to be super aggressive. By being everything in Overwatch is super aggressive. He's an
offense character.
Yeah. Well, 100%.
Which is interesting.
His ultimate ability,
like classification.
Yeah. His ultimate ability is called Meteor Strike. Which, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this, because it literally is, he leaps into the air, you get a reticle, and you can move the reticle around, and you just trigger it like a missile strike. Kind of like, I want my ability to land here. It's just, and he just basically causes a massive AoE damage. But it's almost like, I don't know, I feel like it's almost like too easy, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? And like everything else, I feel like in Overwatch is kind of like, there's some timing
there's
or
a skill
setup.
Ceiling. Yeah.
This one just feels like, you can't get hit because you literally are off the map. It can't really be. The only way to counter it is to sprint, like everyone go in their own separate direction. I'm not sure if if roofs or anything block it or not. That might be interesting, but you know what I mean. It just seems kind of like as long as you just put it in a choke point and wait for a few seconds and then drop it, you're probably gonna get a few kills. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's just not on par as
right.
different things.
I was just doing some quick reading because Marshy asked what's his backstory. It's a little complicated, but basically he's an escaped convict. Excuse me. He's gone into conflict as a former convict.
Dilute.
So I think, conflicted dilute. Keep the puns going from last week.
I try.
Recently freed from imprisonment, Doomfist is determined to plunge the world into a new conflict.
Yeah, his giant golden arm.
He believes will make humanity stronger.
His giant golden arm.
Yes, he's a member of Talon.
Yeah. His giant golden arm is actually a weapon. It was like sealed up in a case that was in one of the maps. Before he got announced, it was mysteriously missing. So it's kind of like he got his weapon back. Kind of like when you get frisked and you lose your pistol, you go to the lockup, you grab your pistol again. Like, I have all my power. So
it sounds like basically it's almost like from what I'm reading, it's almost like a bittersweet thing. Like he was a martial arts fighter, and his family did cybernetics.
There is no new map with Doomfist.
During the Omnic Crisis,
Lunar Landing was the last one.
Right.
Yeah.
During the Omnic Crisis, his I guess maybe his arm or hand was injured, and so that's why he's got the gauntlet. That's what I'm getting from this backstory. Again, I am just skimming this, so. Yeah. There's certainly
watch the video,
information out there.
It helps a little bit.
Yeah. It seems like he's got the thing of like, he's Talon anti-Omnic, like humanity will prevail kind of mentality. So, because humanity deserves to. But he's got a really cool look. He's got a couple of really cool skins. He's got one that looks almost like Colossus, like he's got this cyber body as well as his gigantic fist. I don't know. I will have to play him to know.
Yeah, definitely.
It's hard to tell just on
first blush. It seems like I always launch Overwatch every so often once a character gets announced, and then I'll play it for a few weeks
working.
straight, and then I'll stop for a while, and then there's just a big wave of Overwatch.
I have not played Orisa yet.
I have, because I randomed her in a Random Heroes arcade game. Yeah, she's interesting. She's fun. I mean, definitely.
I don't even think
the whole point of Orisa is to keep on
her.
using her suction cup thingy to just put people off ledges. I mean, that's basically the best thing about it. But one last thing on Overwatch, brand new thing, hot off the presses as of today. Blizzard has announced the first ever Overwatch League. So the Overwatch League is basically a Major League Gaming level Overwatch competition. So it's like the official attempt of Blizzard going, we are going to make Overwatch as mainstream as like Dota 2 or League of Legends. So
mainstream.
Super high main stage. Yeah. And just to to show the actual scale of this, for maybe it might only be pertinent to those in the States, but Robert Kraft.
Sorry, Izzy.
Yeah. So Robert Kraft, who owns the New England Patriots, has bought the Boston team that will be participating in this league. That is huge. This guy is like a billionaire. Like, he is like one of the richest guys in the country. He owns like one of the richest sports organizations in the country. And now he's like, I bought an Overwatch team. This is huge. I mean, it's just showing the level of seriousness that's going into this. So this should be really interesting to watch.
And we're not just saying this because of New England Patriots pride.
Yeah, pat ourselves on the back.
Anyway.
But New England pride, haha. But there's a lot of... Yeah, Tom. God. You're a horrible human being. Calling Izzy that.
I've been burnt.
Oh.
I didn't know. I didn't actually know if the Patriots were like...
I
didn't know if the Patriots were known as an international thing or if that was just... Actually, honestly, I thought it was like, is this just like a New England thing? But then they started just winning everything.
There's going to be a huge thing. I think there's 7 teams. There's going to be a total of 7 teams. So it was the first 7-team owners and partners for the Overwatch League. So there's 7 teams currently. I think they're expanding it out. But it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. It's basically going to be a super major league level Overwatch season and tournament and everything else. So it'd be interesting to watch. For all those who are interested in Overwatch or just like Overwatch, huge news, really good news for anyone out there that's an Overwatch fan.
Mm-hmm.
Tom, take us into our last news piece.
Our last news piece is, let me pull up the agenda. The Surge is getting a free demo next week. And The Surge is... I gotta say it.
Do it. Dark Souls clone. Dark Souls-like.
Dark Souls-alike.
Dark Souls-alike. The new genre.
Which means...
by Addicted to Loot, trademark, patent pending.
Yes, yeah, we're the first to come up with that. It plays like Dark Souls. It functions like Dark Souls. It's hard as nails like Dark Souls, etc., etc., etc. What does that mean?
It's sci-fi versus fantasy.
Right. What does that mean to someone who doesn't know what I'm talking about? It's a third-person action RPG.
Slash 'em up.
Slash 'em up, where combat relies a lot on. It's not a hack and slash. It's a hack and dodge, I guess.
It's a game where you need to pay attention. You need to master your combos. You need to basically observe, learn, and figure out each one of your enemies. Like, you can't just use the same strategy every single time. You need to parry at the right time. You need to dodge at the right time. Sometimes dodging doesn't work. Sometimes parrying doesn't work. So
oftentimes death is a part of it's almost like a roguelike. Death is a part of the process. Like, now I know not to do that again.
Yeah, so that's the thing. It's a game that doesn't pull any punches. It is starting
unlike
out...
Doomfist.
But it's
I hope nobody clips that motion I just did. Oh God, stop doing it! No.
But yeah, it's basically a game that pulls no punches. The whole 100% of it is going to be they want you to struggle. I mean, it's a game where a lot of the pull and a lot of the premise is the fact that it's going to be hard, it's going to be challenging, but some people like it. Some people like it a lot. There's a lot of Dark Souls fans out there. There's a lot of Ninja Gaiden fans out there from way back when. So this game is very similar. It got kind of okay-ish reviews-ish. Not a lot. It kind of fell flat. It kind of had like a really flat release when it first launched. But hey, starting next week, it's going to be free for at least a demo. So it's intriguing enough just to see what it's like, to see what it's about. There's a few interesting features in the game that I liked. The fact that if you actually see a piece of loot that you want on someone's person, you can get it. Like 100%, you can get it.
That's cool.
And it's all about like targeted attacks. Like, if the guy's wearing a helmet, you want to make sure you don't massacre his head or the item will break. So you want to make sure, like, I want to kill him doing body shots or break his leg or something. So that is one of the things that I always remember about this game that looks really interesting. So,
yeah, well, I'm just glad that it's getting a free demo. I will take the chance to check it out. I'm not a fan of these kinds of games, but I do like the look of it. I like the world, the premise. So if I have a hard time turning up anything that's free.
Yes,
yeah, it's really
definitely. So yeah, you might be hearing about this next week on the cast. Same time, same place.
Yeah.
And with that, we're going to close the books on our news section and go into our playlists. So I'm going to start out with something quick that I promised as of last week. I'm actually going to do my final thoughts on the Warhammer Fantasy Pirate Simulator, Man of War Corsair, as well as the horror-based MMO Secret World Legends. So, first and foremost, Man of War Corsair.
Oh, no.
Would not recommend it. It is...
Oh, no!
Yeah, it's...
Really?
The premise is really good. The idea is really good. It could be a much better game, but as of right now, it's a very hollow, very it doesn't have a lot of depth to it. There isn't a lot of features. It's just kind of like it's there. It's not well polished. It's not finished off. If this was an early access, I would pull some punches on it. But since it's a fully released game, it's not worth the money. I would definitely say it's far more of a couple Steam sales from now game, unless there's a major update. I played the story for a little bit. It kind of blah because it was always just sell around in a weird mechanic, shoot some people using the same stuff as always. There wasn't a lot of new abilities or new weapons or new ships. I tried doing custom battles with the other races to see if the other ships would add anything to it, and but minus visuals, it's kind of the same. So I definitely would not recommend this game, especially not for full price. Maybe if they, like I said, if they do a few big updates, maybe. But this is like a few Steam sales from now kind of game. Like this is a sub $10, maybe a sub $5 game. Do
you recommend it for someone that's not a Warhammer or
I don't recommend
naval combat?
I don't recommend this game to anyone. Period.
Oh boy,
it's just there's
that's a rare. We don't usually say that. So
it's just not for the price now. I mean, if it was like $5, I'd probably recommend it to some set of people out there. But realistically, it's too hollow. There's very little there. Very little features, very little variety. I mean, it looks good.
Yeah.
Has some interesting mechanics from the pirate combat and the naval combat. But it's just too unpolished. It's just too unfinished to really recommend it at all. So definitely 2 big thumbs down. I might keep playing it if they release some new stuff with it, but ultimately right now I was just kind of just did not like it.
Bummer. I don't think I've had a game recently where I've had that reaction. There's at least been something where it's like, well, you know what, this is good enough, or like,
I would say it's a good game for Warhammer fans if it was like sub $10, maybe. But it's just for the price, as its full retail price, definitely not. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. I feel like you'd probably just feel like you got robbed of your money.
Marcia is putting in a request for you covering Vermintide DLC.
I actually think about doing that because Marsh and I have been trying to connect on playing Vermintide for a while now. I do love Vermintide. I've covered it before. I talked about it a long time ago on the cast.
Yeah.
Can't speak highly enough about it. So much fun, especially for any WoW head out there, or Warhammer head. I keep on
now that's the one that's like Left 4 Dead a little bit?
It's basically Left 4 Dead, but instead of killing zombies, you're killing human-sized rats.
Skaven, right?
Skavens, yes.
Yes. So I'm learning Warhammer lore.
Go stars for Tommy! Woo!
Yay! An attempt was made.
But yeah, I actually might break down and get all of the DLCs just to try them out. Like I said,
cool.
Right now I've only played all the base stuff. I played all the classes, but I've only played the base stuff. So maybe more to that to come.
Cool.
Secret World Legends, another game that I talked about because specifically I talked about how I hated the Gunslinger class. It was just too easy. There wasn't much there, and
I said you should try the Assassin or something melee based.
Well, here's the other thing. I tried the Sorcerer class, the Elementalist, which is purely spellcasting.
Yep.
And hated it just as much as the Gunslinger. So
interesting.
Maybe it is melee classes. Maybe that's the secret to this game. I might
get it? Secret.
I might try it again with a melee class, but the Gunslinger and the Elementalist, literally the Elementalist was the same thing. You hit the left click button, it hit multiple characters until they died. The standard abilities you get when you first start off felt very light. There didn't seem like there was a lot of impact to them. And
I think, because I have, just to recap from last week, my character is the Assassin class, which is a, like, katana as the main weapon, which is, this is a rare MMO where the combat is, at least with melee weapons, I don't know what the term is for it, but it's like physical, as in if the character is in front of you and within range of your sword and you hit it, you know, it's not just click on character and it's like
click
swing
attack.
and
you walk into range and it just hits.
You literally have to be like, oh, he's over there, walk over to him and hit him. Like a hack and slash. And my alternate is the Elementalist magic, which is cool because it's like I can be fighting a guy and there's a guy off in the distance, so I hit my right click and a beam of fire goes out and hits him. You know?
Yeah, when that's your main weapon, literally it's, once again, as long as you highlight a target and you keep clicking left, your bolts just magically hit them. There's not much skill involved.
That's weird. Yeah.
Like the main ability, it's like I launch a fireball at them. Didn't feel like it had much weight to it. Like I had the frost ability to cool off because once again I had the heat meter, which was a cool meter. Cool. game feature. I will say that much. The game feature of the temperature control was cool. It was an interesting management part of it. But once again, just everything felt light. Just didn't like it. Didn't really have fun with it.
The way that the heat meter worked is really cool, because what you do is when you cast spells that are like fire or lightning, you have a heat like level that starts going up, and you can either max it out and then it's like you can't cast anything until it goes down, or you can start to cast ice spells and the heat level goes down. So you can do this really cool thing of like, okay, fire spell, fire spell, fire spell, ice spell, ice spell, fire spell, fire spell. So
you just basically constantly bounce back and forth.
And I found that really interesting. I like that.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
The Gunslinger had an ability where every once in a while when you triggered an ability, you would reload your gun, and it would have like 3 different colors on the barrels, and as they spun, if they stopped on the same color, you'd get different types of bonuses. Like you get increased attack, like 1x attack, 1.5, 2x, things like that. But like I said, I just could not. I just once again bounced right off of it.
Interesting.
But the main thing is, I mean, once again, Secret World Legends might just be worth playing just for anyone out there that's an MMO fan, just because it's the most unique and engrossing universe of most MMOs out there, especially free
I agree.
ones. So
I agree.
That alone is probably enough to recommend it. But once again, I dinged off of it hard for a second time. For
anyone who might just be joining us or didn't hear last week's Secret World Legends premise, it was formerly the Secret World, if the game sounds familiar, and it's been re-released and kind of touched up as Secret World Legends. The premise is that all conspiracy theories are true, that Lovecraftian Elder Ones exist along with vampires, along with aliens. It's like everything, every weird folklore character and things like that all exist in the world. And so it's just right there. That's a cool idea. But it's telling it in a cool, I want to say it's like cliche-filled way, but I mean that as a pure compliment. It is like referential, It's like the
they don't
class that I
hide their
chose.
Easter eggs; they throw them in your face.
Right. The class that I chose literally went like Matrix story beat after Matrix story beat to like insert Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon here to like Lovecraft to it's clearly doing stuff that's like, hey, you know what this is a reference to. World of Alex Jonescraft, a little bit.
Just about.
It's cool. I like it. I like it. I'm eager to play
said,
more of it.
I don't know.
But I think it may be the class.
I like MMOs. I always have a soft spot for MMOs. This one's a unique one. Probably unique enough where I would say it's free. Download it to experience it, and then decide for yourself. But I'm still kind of on the edge with it. I actually, just fun fact, I did re-download Final Fantasy XIV. I actually want to give it another shot. So,
boy, I know people who swear by that.
I know.
Like,
I bounced off. I tried it once, bounced off of it, talked about it on the podcast. They have a few new things. I think they expanded their free level cap, so I'm going to try it again with a new class. Because I think I spoke about this once before, Final Fantasy XI was like one of my first great true MMO loves. Like I could not speak highly enough of Final Fantasy XI. Oh my god, to me it was like the epitome of MMOs. It just unfortunately ran its course, and unfortunately the economy went to shit and it died off.
Yeah.
But oh my god, did I love this game. So, and Final Fantasy XIV is just the reimagining of Final Fantasy XI, so like I want to love it, but it's just so utterly different that it's kind of hard. So I'm actually going to try to replay it. I'm going to try to give it another shot. I'm going to try a different class, maybe a different race, and just see what happens. And just see if I like it or not.
I like Secret World Legends enough that I'd like to see, ideally, a story through, like a character art. I don't know how the story goes, if it hits an end point or what. Hopefully it at least has some sort of thing, because it's telling cool stuff. It's a cool experience to be getting this kind of world drip fed to you, get out those bingo cards. It's certainly not Star Wars The Old Republic,
no.
Which does tell cinematic, beginning, middle, and
which is the main thing that this
stories.
Game is really missing. It's missing the player's touch of a story. Like getting to choose your path, getting to choose your different conversation options, getting to choose Renegade, Paragon, good, bad, evil.
But for what it is, especially for free, giving you pretty much everything for free, it really does give you everything for free.
Just about.
The only stuff that you pay for...
Timer, but it's for free. You'll get it, but it's on a timer.
Yeah. The only stuff that you pay for really just accelerates your leveling. It's not like anything's hidden. Like, pay to unlock this mission kind of stuff.
Yeah, but you can get the mission just eventually.
Yep. It's good. I like it.
Yeah. So, that ends my final thoughts on those two games. Moving on to another free game. I don't know why, but I've been doing this free game mood for some odd reason. It's been, maybe that's what...
It's free games of the week this week.
Free games of the week. So, I actually don't know why I found this game. It's a game that's been out for, I think, since 2015, at least 2 years.
Maybe 14?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Let me go check this real quick. I think. Anyway, it's been 2 to 3 years. And I don't know why it hit my radar. I think I was just going through the Twitch like browse feature, and people were like, "This game got like I think it might have had a new update, and it just got a rejuvenation of attention." But Starframe, I don't know why it says Starframe. Warframe's the game actually I'm talking about. Warframe. It is a free third-person shooter. It is a free third-person shooter that kind of has some like open worldness to it, and that's the other thing. The big expansion, the big update that they got is that they're getting an open world zone. Typically, Warframe is a mission-based thing, so you have your central hub, which is your ship, and then you choose missions, and then you randomly get paired with people to do the missions.
The biggest comparison for this game that I constantly see is Destiny.
This game, and that's literally you're beating me to my point. This game to me is like free Destiny. That's like basically it's free Destiny just with it's not Halo gameplay. Like Destiny to me is Halo gameplay. This to me is almost like if the Titanfall pilot had like true melee and like some kind of like fantasy-esque abilities. Like it's
why am I not playing this right now?
I've been telling you this for like a week, and you just been like silent. I'm like, I sent him like 3 or 4
I've
messages.
had anime girls to take care of.
Come on. I literally sent like 3 or 4 messages straight of like, Tom, you should play this game right now. And this nothing,
See,
silence.
Part of why
silence. I talk about it once in the podcast, and all of a sudden,
the PC console-ness notwithstanding, part of why Destiny hasn't really turned my head is I don't like Halo. I don't like the gameplay of Halo.
This isn't Halo. This game is incredible.
Well, but that's why I'm saying Destiny. Like talking about Destiny 2 coming to PC, it's like, okay, cool. It's gonna be Halo kind of stuff.
But I definitely like both types of games. Don't get me wrong. I love both types of games. I like the way they perform. I like the thrill you get from them. But Warframe is definitely a different type of combat. Definitely a different type of combat. And like I said, it's definitely far more... It's as quick as a pilot, but there's no like cover system. So it's definitely not Halo in the fact that you're trying to constantly cover. You're just running and gunning and shooting and everything, all this other stuff. And this is a game, and this is like the best
that
review.
Plays well to my suicidal gameplay tendencies.
And this is the best thing I could say about this game is that I wish I could buy this game at full price. Like, I wish I could just buy the full version of this game to wipe away
just give you money?
All the freemium content and just give me a standard progression system and drop rates. I would pay full price right friggin' now for that game. This game...
So that doesn't exist? Or...
No, or at least I don't know if it ever did, but right now it definitely not. It's definitely 100% freemium.
Okay.
The issue with that is, I mean, it just super slows the progression down. Like, the main thing with me is I want to get the variety of when you get a drop rate. Like, you know, you get a new thing, you get to try it out, you get to change up your play style. For me, because you have to either unlock a blueprint and craft it and like grind all the crafting materials and then finally pay to craft it, and then you have to wait a day for the crafting to get done. There's no like drop rates. You can't kill a guy and say like, you found a new bow. It's just you just collect and collect and collect and then slowly unlock stuff. Either you like rank up and it just unlocks, meaning that you could buy it with, once again, freemium currency that you pay real money for, or you buy with in-game currency the blueprint that you then have to grind materials for to slowly craft. So the problem is a speed in this game. The speed at which you can unlock stuff and get new things is super slow, which is my main drawback here. Like, I've been slowly trying to get a new melee weapon. I actually tend to play far more melee ranged in this game than anything else. And the other cool thing is there's different types of different types of enemy classes, and depending on the enemy class, some weapons work better than others, like impact, piercing, slashing, like different types of damage work better on different types of characters, which I've just been slowly learning out. Because technically my build before was I had like a huge staff of a melee weapon that can does much harder hits, and it can hit multiple people at once instead of one person, slightly slower, and also a one-shot bow kind of thing. Like it's silent, it won't alarm people, and if you get a headshot, they just die. And the other cool thing is, I love this. I absolutely love this. The fact that if you kill someone with a bow, they stick to the wall. I love that. Like they literally they'll travel and hit a wall and just stay there. It is so great.
The only other game that I've seen do that is Team Fortress 2.
Yeah, I mean, I love that little ability of it. I love that little feature from it. And then each one, I'm blanking on what they're called, but basically like your character is called like an Anno or something like that.
Tenno,
thank you. It's called a Tenno, and getting all the different types of Tenno classes unlock different types of abilities and play styles. Unfortunately, once again, those take even longer to grind to unlock. So I'm always constantly playing my one Tenno, which is fine because I really like them. I like my ability set far more kind of close quarter abilities, which is fine by me. It works great. But it's so, I want to progress quicker. I want to get my drop rates. I want to unlock new stuff.
Do you think that that's just because you're, I don't want to say casually, but you're low key playing this game, but maybe someone who plays this as like their only game or one of their prime games, it's not so much a problem?
I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I miss organic drop rates. It's purely like that's mainly it.
The Division had good, crazy drops. The Division just showered you with loot.
Yeah, the Division.
That's actually part of why we called ourselves Addicted to Loot.
Destiny, Division, all of that had pretty good drop rates. They have standard drop rates. So I think that's the main issue with this. That's really the main thing that comes. That's an issue with this. The other negatives are they kind of reuse maps. You'll start at different ends so that you get a different angle of them, but typically they're the same. They're different types of map or the same map, but used a different way. They have different types of gaming modes. There's like survival, spy, escort, espionage, stuff like that. So there's different types of gaming modes, there's different types of classes, there's different types of enemies. There's kind of like a progression system. There's quest-based systems. There's crafting systems. It hits a lot of good things. And like I said, the gameplay in and of itself is just fun. It's fast-paced and it's fun. That's the main thing to me. That's the main reason why I love playing this. But like I said, I just really wish I could just pay full price for a standard game. But unfortunately, I can't get it. It's 100% behind a freemium wall.
I remember we actually brought this up kind of recently because they added a new character class that was like a music maker where it actually I think it's like Lucia where she just healed people within music aura, but it had like a sequencer that you could make your own rhythms with. And that's like really cool to me that a game would go so far as to say, not only do we have like a DJ character, but you're going to lay down, a 4-beat drum track for her. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So I was curious about that, but this game has constantly been like, this is one of those that like I put it on my Steam wish list, and every time I see it's on sale, or not on sale, but I think about playing it rather. It's like, I got something else I'm playing right now. It doesn't do anything to put it above other games for me. It hasn't like come forward with anything that's like, oh, wow, yes, I am ready to play that. Honestly, adding that music character was the closest they got. But I know that a lot of people have said this is the PC Destiny until Destiny comes to the PC, which isn't the Destiny 2 beta like this month?
Starting off for PS4, yes. The PC one doesn't happen until September, I believe.
Okay. Well, it's going to be interesting to know how that goes over. Because I haven't actually bought or pre-ordered Destiny 2 yet, so...
Yeah, like I said, I'm looking forward to it. I know I get the beta, so that would be interesting to cover once it unlocks and I finally get a chance to play it. But Warframe, I definitely, once again, it's free. I'd recommend it to
you would recommend it.
Fast amount of people, plus the fact that I would like... Plus, I think this game would just get better with the more people you play with. But like they said, it's fun, it's action-packed, it'll get your heart pumping, but it is I get annoyed every once in a while with the freemium curtain.
It's like you're playing and it's like, yeah!
And you just kind of like, I want that sword. The sword looks so freaking pretty.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I can't get it. It's like, then you have to like research how you grind that one item, and then you're like, I have to do this over and over again. And
it's one thing to be like like with Overwatch, you're looking at character skins and you're like, oh, that's really cool. I hope I get that in a drop.
Yeah, but
it's another thing to be like, oh, come on, I'm not getting anything.
Like, this is like the difference between having a staff, 2 swords, 2 daggers, a mace, nunchucks, a boomerang, a shuriken. Like, it's like it completely changes your character, your playing style. And
it's like if you signed into Overwatch and it's like, okay, you can only play as Symmetra. But if you play long enough, you might unlock Zenyatta. And it's like...
but like I would love to like play this with someone and just see what someone else's thoughts are, to see what it's like with 2 people.
Sure.
But like I said, would recommend it. A good free game. Definitely.
Cool. My bit of the playlist is going to be really short because as we've danced all around, I actually only really played one game, and it was really funny because I was coming into today. I was like, oh my god, I have to play something else. So I eventually played like an hour of something else that I will talk about. Bear with me.
Mm-hmm.
Stick with me, everybody. This is gonna be a little bit out there.
Cue the eye rolls.
The game I've been playing this week is called Crush Crush, and it's
the name alone, like
it's a hybrid of a couple different games. I'm going to try and pitch this. It's free. It's on Steam. It's a hybrid of a couple different types of games. It's one of those idle clicker games, so like Adventure Capitalist or Clicker Heroes, Cookie Clicker. You know, where actually the premise is that you start off like with a thing and you click on it. Like Cookie Clicker, you're clicking on a cookie. And then if you click enough, all of a sudden you've unlocked, hey, if you've got the ability to buy something that will add 5 clicks every second. Oh, cool. And so that starts automating. And then as you gain more, it's like, oh, you can upgrade that. And now you can have more of it. And then, oh, maybe you've unlocked something that gives you 15 clicks every second. And
100%.
And so that's always a very fun kind of gameplay loop, no matter what the dressing of the game is.
Mm-hmm.
This Crush game is that, except instead of cookies, you're clicking on busty anime girls. Hear me out. It's really addictive. It's incredibly addictive. It's very colorful. The dialogue, okay, not all of them. Yeah, not all of them are busty. The dialogue is incredibly self-aware and hilarious. Like, what you're doing, if you want to give it a story, quote unquote, a premise, is that each girl basically, once you meet them, you've screwed something up, and so you start by apologizing, and you're apologizing. Then you eventually get to a tier where you're okay, you guys are just kind of frenemies, and then it's like, oh, you're awkward friends, and then, oh, maybe she's interested in you, and then now you're sweethearts, and now you're lovers, etc., etc. It's just a bar you're making go up by clicking on them. Again, it's like the dialogue, the characters are actually like stereotypes, like to a funny level. One of the characters is a bear named Beverly, and it's a bear with lipstick. I mean, I'm not saying like this is like a cute anime bear. This is a literal grizzly bear. Like, that's the character. And her dialogue is just like, Beverly angry, Beverly like the way you smell. And it's just, it's colorful. And so aesthetically, it's like, oh, okay, well, this is fine. Nice little bleeps and bloops. But it's addictive as hell. And I am so pissed off because I cannot stop playing this game. Because, you're getting it up to a certain point, and, like, as you play, you unlock jobs, and the jobs give you more money. And you also unlock hobbies, which give you skills, and the skills will combine to unlock a job. So, like, you can level up your... you can brood to level up your angst level, and then you can also level up, like, I can't remember what it is, but it's, like, creativity. And then as you get those to a certain level, oh, now you can work as an artist, and an artist makes a certain amount of money, so you can buy better gifts for your anime girlfriends. It's so bad, Brian. It's so bad. And I just
did the anime.
It's so bad, and I love it so much. It's like, it knows exactly what it is. This game knows. I mean, there's one character that not only breaks the fourth wall, she literally punches through the fourth wall. So it's like when you get like intro cutscenes to each character, and it's like you're sitting playing a dating simulator when suddenly someone breaks through the fourth wall, and you see a fist punching through the wall, and it's like fourth wall broken or crushed. And you give hand lotions and you go on dates. It's if anyone's played Adventure Capitalist, it's incredibly similar, but it's just using cartoon chickies. It's ridiculous. It's really funny. It's actually really genuinely funny. Like, view it through a filter. You know, don't play it like, yes, it's my anime babes. It's like, oh my god, this is a game that knows that it's featuring anime babes. Yeah, basically. Yeah, I wish it actually was more like WarioWare, because it'd be cool if it had mini games. But it's very funny. I do recommend it. It's free. If you like idle games and clicking games, go play this for like just a few seconds and see if it grabs you. It grabbed me. It's got this feature where a lot of idle games have this, where once you reach a certain level, you can regenerate and start from the very beginning again, but you get a bonus. It's almost like a roguelike. You've got a bonus to how fast you earn stuff, like how fast you earn your romance points. I don't know what to call them. Little purple hearts. They're certainly not purple hearts. I recommend it. I do.
Interesting.
I think it's a game that people should play because it's funny. I'm getting a laugh out of it. Like, anyone who follows me on Twitter, that's like, I've been posting screenshots of it. Like, the dialogue is just really funny. I like it. So I did play something that's not that. In fact, it's like the exact opposite of that. And it is Strike Vector EX. And this game, I believe it's a thing like Secret World Legends, where it did come out as Strike Vector, like in 2014 and 15. And I think this is like I think there should be a term called a free master. I'm coming up with that right now on the spot, where it's like they remaster the game or change something about it, but it's now free. So I think that it came out as Strike Vector and it was a whatever retail game. But now it's Strike Vector EX and it's in free beta, so maybe it won't be free ultimately, but you can go on Steam right now and play it. And boy, Brian, you should play this.
It looks like a dogfighting.
It's a dogfighting game, so you're in this kind of, it's like a space ship, but it's almost mech-like. It's not a mech in the sense that it transforms and you've got, mech-like stuff going on, but it's that kind of aesthetic. I'm trying to make a pun with mech and aesthetic, but it's not working. Mesthetic. That sounds like those commercials. Do you or a loved one suffer from aesthetic mesothelioma? It's very much a PS2 era game, actually like late PS1. So the music is like chunky rock music, like visually it looks like it's that industrial kind of grungy.
Like, if you didn't know, everyone on the cast will probably hear the music. I just previewed it. Yeah. It's a grungy, almost like a Metal Gear Solid kind of look, but in the sky at high altitudes. And yeah, it's just a dogfighting game. I say it's just a dogfighting game. It's got a narrative. It's got a multiplayer component. You're upgrading your ship. You're changing out your loadout. Do you want to be a Gatling gun, and do you want to be like a single shot homing missile, et cetera, et cetera. I'm having fun with it. I've only played like an hour and a half of it. I'm doing the story. The story is appropriately over the top. It's another thing. I love games like this that are self-aware. It's like, we're cool, and like Broforce, right? You finish the mission Broforce. And there's like this explosion on the screen and the mission complete has like fire coming off it. It's like, congratulations, badass. So it's cool. I'm having fun with that. That's Strike Vector EX. Feels good to control. I actually tried both the controller and the keyboard and was happy with both, which is rare. I just ultimately went with the keyboard. I do have a suggestion. If you go mouse and keyboard with it, rebind. This may just be me, but the ship it's like 6 axes of control, axes of control. So you're not just going forward and left, right. You're going up, down, and tumbling like gravity. What? So there are buttons for like strafe up and down.
you're
wow.
facing forward, but you go up and down. They have those bound to R and F by default. I changed them to Q and E. So, you've got your WASD moving your ship forward and your mouse is kind of pitching. But if you want to go up, I have that to E. And it just feels a little bit more natural. Certainly with a controller, I think it's L1 and R1. So that makes sense. You're moving and then up. So it's kind of like doing that. Maybe the R and F are for someone's preference, but
maybe
best I could figure Q and E were like honk the horn
things.
Or something like that. So it was easy to switch them out. Yeah. It's like, I want to go up. Toot. But it's cool. I'm actually looking forward to playing more of it. So yeah, Strike Vector EX free on Steam. Go and get them.
And now, everyone's favorite moment of the cast, the free game of the week, the Forgotua.
So once a week, every week, when we do this, we give away a link to a free game that we think that you guys might like. This is a little bit different this week. It's not so much a game as a very short thing that I played and I got a laugh out of. So I think everyone should play it. It's a game that's on itch.io called Greetings, or is it Greeting? Let me just check. Yes, Greetings. We will link it or you can look it up. Greetings on itch. It looks like it's going to be a spooky dooky thing. That's intentional. I can safely say it's not going to be a jump scare. Definitely feel the tension that's going on, but it's one of those things, very short. This game will take you longer to download than to play it. It presents you with a sci-fi, very creepy sci-fi corridor with creaks and groans. Oh no, it's very spooky, high tension. Oh no. And I can only walk forward into this corridor. What's gonna happen at the end of this corridor? Oh no! Play it. I literally did the thing where when I finished, I went ha. So it's one of those. That's your reaction at the end of the game. It's gonna be oh my god. So it's called Greetings, and we will link that on our website,
which is addictedloot.com, where you can get. Basically, you can see this podcast, the show notes, and links to everything and everything. You can get links to, obviously, our Twitch, which you can come and watch us live as we do this podcast. Join us live and actually share your thoughts live with us as we go through each and every topic.
Thank you, everyone who's here today.
This was an awesome
great
episode.
50th
Definitely
episode.
Thank you, everyone. This was really, really great. You can also get links to our Facebook, our YouTube, which is actually more active nowadays. So please go check out all the new videos that we've been uploading.
Thanks to this guy right here. I never know where Brian is, so I'm just pointing in both directions.
From there, you can also...
Thanks to that guy.
This guy. But
Not that guy.
You can also get links to the audio version of this podcast, where you can find it iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. If there is a spot where you normally listen to podcasts that I have not yet covered,
let us
please
know.
let me know. 'Cause I'm also just kind of curious at this stage. But we offer it just about anywhere you can. So, with all that, you can also get our group email, which is addicted to loot, that's TO at gmail.com. You can drop us a line, whether it's interview requests, show appearance requests, games you'd like us to cover.
We are
comments,
open to
reviews.
guests. We have had them in the past.
We've had special guests.
Precedent exists.
If you'd like to come onto the show for a full episode or even part-time and just discuss one topic or all of our topics, email us, let us know, drop us a Twitter. Hey, we'll be more than happy to set that up. Speaking of Twitter, you can also get links to our group Twitter, which is @addicted2loot. That is the number 2. That is the spot where you go just for generic updates to Addicted to Loot. So anytime our podcast is going to be announced, whether it's going to be dates and times, whether there's an update to the website or anything else that's going on, like the time frame for our new RPG stream or anything else like that. Anytime we go live, anytime we post a video, that is our @Addicted to Loot Twitter account, just a generic notification for anything Addicted to Loot. We have personal Twitter accounts, which are far more active and far more just one-on-one interactions with us, as well as anything that's going on in general, gaming-wise, just for us or anything else we want to interact with. Mine is @ATL_Atomic0, and Tom's is @Tomality, TOMALITY. And as always, we have been Addicted to Loot. This is episode 50. Join us next week for a big 1-year special. Woohoo!
Woo!
And until
in the meantime, keep it perverted.